let's jump into the first topic, guys. Let's jump into the first topic. We're going to talk about the account executive role. Many of you guys want to get into sales, so let's talk about the account executive role. Obviously, I'll start from the basics again, because I've talked about this multiple times on this channel. The first role into sales is that of a sales development rep, SDR. Okay, that is the entry level where you can break into tech sales. And you have to think about steps as you continue to progress in your career. Level 0 would be SDR, right? That'll be your entry level role. Your next roll up would be something like an account executive or something like that. So what does an account executive do? That's the question that many of you guys want to know. When you think about it, an account executive is really responsible for serving new customers or existing customers and making sure that sales, the deals that are given to them or the sales that they are seeking get closed and they bring in revenue. That is for existing customers or that's for new customers. A lot of times account executives in the companies that I've worked for, especially in the supply chain space, they go towards the new customers. They are the ones that are out there actually doing the hunting, okay? And they serve the needs of the customers to close deals for the company that they are working for. And they work for, or they work with the sales development reps quite often. Matter of fact, frequently, because the role of the sales development rep is to qualify as many deals and to prospect and get as many meetings on the calendar of an account executive. So if you think about it, an account executive would almost be in a position like, I'm gonna use some hypotheticals, right? Almost like an executive, right? You think about it, an executive and an SDR would almost be his assistant, okay? And that's not how it really is in the business world because, they don't report into each other and so forth. They're actually on separate teams, right? SDRs are managed by an SDR manager, and account executives typically managed by a VP of sales or a sales manager and so forth. So they're under the sales organization, under the same, umbrella. However, there's no really reporting structure into an SDR. It doesn't have a reporting structure directly into an account executive. But ultimately, they do the work for an account executive. They, qualify leads and so forth and make sure that the account executive's calendar is full with meetings where people are actually attending, right? Where people are actually attending. That's how the SDRs get paid, guys. They get paid for, making sure that they qualify leads. They get paid for making sure that the account executives have meetings where people are actually showing up. And if you do that job relatively well, you're going to be making a whole bunch of money, right? Because that's what your compensation is based on. So let's get back to account executive. They're responsible for closing those deals. They're responsible for taking the customer through the entire sales cycle. Okay. So, the difference between an account executive and account manager is this, guys. Typically, in a company, an account manager is only responsible for growing and maintaining an existing relationship with an account that they actually already have for the business or a customer that already exists for the business. So if you are a customer, let's just say your company is named Voodoo, right? And Pepsi is your customer, right? And you're an account manager for Pepsi. Well, it's because the Pepsi has already been an existing customer for quite some time. And as an account manager, you're responsible for growing and maintaining that existing relationship. So you already have it. You're responsible for expanding that relationship, cross sales, upsells, growing the overall revenue for that account. An account executive is also responsible for that piece of it as well, but they're also responsible for new customers as well. That's why a lot of people use the name hunters. They use the name hunters because new customers you have to hunt. Your sales development reps are the ones that are getting these guys on the phone, and you're the person that has to bring in that new customer. So that's the difference between an account manager and account executive. Account executive typically is the ones that's actually doing the hunting, and account manager is the ones that's doing the farming. Farming means you're maintaining existing relationships, growing the accounts by planting seeds. Hunting, you're out there on the road, knocking on doors, trying to get new customers to sign up to be a customer at the company that you're actually working for. Now let's talk about the money that an account executive can actually make. Account executives can make a lot of money. Depending on the industry that you're in, let's just say some of the base, salaries for an account executives probably is around about $70,000 that I've done research on Glassdoor and so forth. About $70,000 of the base, right? And then your OTE would be double that. So let's just say you're making $70,000. Your on target earnings will typically be another $70,000 if you're able to crush your quota. So that's $140,000 that you can make at certain companies if their structure is aligned that way. That's $140,000 you can make at a company if their compensation structure is aligned that way. I'm in the supply chain space, guys. I can tell you this. Our account executives, they start off at about 150, okay? And the OTE is another 150, okay? So that's talking about $300,000 a year. That's in the space that I'm actually in. I can tell you like that, you get in that space, the sales cycle is a little bit longer. Why is the sales cycle a little bit longer? Well, because it's really important software and it takes companies a long time to make the ultimate decision, because supply chain is not a certain function inside a company. It's one single function. It's a function of the entire company. So multiple stakeholders and so forth that you have to speak with in order for you to gain the buy-in, in order for you to make a transaction happen. And these transactions are not $50,000, $60,000, $40,000. They're millions of dollars. They're millions of dollars, guys. So you can make a lot more money as an account executive working in the supply chain and other high-tech industries, high-tech sales industries that pay you a compensation very similar like that. There's others, quick ones. You have SaaS companies that pay you, $100,000 a year and so forth with an OTE of another $100,000 if you nail it and knock it out of the park. It's $200,000, guys. That's a good amount of money. Many of you want to get to that six-figure mark, and going in sales and crushing it is a way that you can make a lot of money within your career. Now, let's talk about some of the skills that you're going to need for, to become an account executive, because many people want to do it because they see how much money that you can actually make. However, you have to think about, are these your natural skills? Are you able to learn these skills if they aren't your natural skills? Are you willing to put in the work to learn these skills and to be devoted into your sales career to get better at it? Those are the questions that I want you guys to ask yourself when you think about going into sales. I remember when I went into sales, right? I told myself I'm going to do anything I need to do in order for me to become a very good salesperson that is able to make a good amount of money. That means if I needed to, move my family into a one-bedroom apartment and it's four of us, right? I would have done it. If I needed to, go to a sales boot camp and spend 6 months out of my own money, I would have done it. Get the coaching that I need and get the mentorship, I would have done it. You have to ask yourself if that's what you're willing to do, because quite honestly, sales, it doesn't come natural for a lot of people, and it doesn't still come natural to me. I just have some, I would consider to be some talents and some areas that allow for me to facilitate sales transactions in a way that makes it easier for our customers by gaining trust and credibility very fast, and then having a good ability to manage the process, therefore allowing me to put the right people in the right position at the right time, allowing for me to close the actual transaction. And not only that, managing that process after the transaction's been closed. So that's my superpowers. But you have to think about it for yourself. What are your superpowers that you have? What are the superpowers that you need to gain? And let's talk about some of those right now. One is communication skills. Communication skills is very important in sales because you have to be, one, a good listener. And when I mean communication skills, I'm not just talking about talking. I'm talking about listening as your number one communication skill. Okay? Verbally communicating as well too. Written communication is very, very important. You have to be crystal clear in all facets of that. But your number one has to be listening, guys. I'm gonna tell you like this. I thought I was a good listener until, I've been working very closely with one of my executives, and I'm gonna tell you like this, man. He's a very, very good listener, and his brain just moves at a significant faster pace than mine does. And he's able to get stuff done really, really fast. So that's why I involved him a lot into my transactions, because I can get the executives on a phone call right away. And it's easy for executives to make a transaction happen if they are aligned themselves and understand how the benefits towards the overall business early. But again, your number one skill that you're going to need to learn is the communication skills. So think about that when you're thinking about getting into sales, and how you progress to that and account executive. The other one is empathy. Guys, you have to be able to really care and show that you really care about your customer and their business. You have to do that. And it needs to be natural, right? If you're a person that really does care about people, I think you can naturally show that. If you can put yourself in a position or put yourself in other people's shoes, that's a really good trait to have, because not only are you talking, when you're communicating with people, you're actually understanding their pain, their problems, and so forth. And you can put themselves or yourselves in their position, right? If they're potentially, have an opportunity to make one of the largest transactions in their company, in their career, right? They may be, having a lot of fear if they don't have something resolved, right? They just may be one of the, make or break. This software purchase can help them, gain that promotion so that they can take care of their family and so forth. You have to be able to have empathy and show empathy to your customers while you're in sales as well too. Other one I would say is organizational skills. Guys, you got to be organized, because at the end of the day, you're going to be facilitating a lot of things, moving parts, from working with your sales engineers, working with your executives, working with the customer, working with the different people in their organization, working with your contracts team, working with your finance team, your accounting team, and all that stuff. You have to have really good organizational skills as well. Problem solving is a really good skill that you're going to need as well too. I'm thinking about, finding a way how I can help SDRs become an account executive. So I'm giving you guys my thoughts on what I think are needed in order for you to become an account executive. And I think problem solving, organizational skills, communication skills, having a high empathy, negotiation skills, being determined, right? Being persistent, the knowing that, you're going to take a lot of lumps and bruises, and you have to pick yourself up. I think about people who are going through interview processes right now, right?